Well, so for today, we're studying a new language goal. If you remember in our previous sessions, we have covered the different tenses and different forms of verbs. For today, we have a new language goal that is language goal L51D. Recognize and correct an appropriate shift in verb tense, and it's mandatory in the Common Core standards for your grade level. You're supposed to be covering this. It's with yes here. So what do we have today? We'll promote using verbs using a new activity that's called Verb Circles activity. Before we head on for the activity itself, let me ask you a question. We have two lists of verbs here. What is the difference between the verbs in list 1 and the verbs in list 2? I'll give you a couple of seconds to look at the list and tell me what is the shared characteristic here among this group of verbs, and what is the shared characteristic here among this group of verbs. Yes?
The difference between them is that on list 1, the past tense from them, like watch, walked, and kicked. It's you just add the ed.
Wonderful. What do we call this kind of feature or this kind of characteristic for verbs? Huh? What category of verbs is this?
Regular verbs.
Regular verbs. Thank
The
you
other
very much.
ones are
Can I
irregular
say the
verbs.
other thing?
Yes, the other one?
Okay, and list 2, like for example, when you slept, you change the word itself. You don't add to it. And swim or fall, fell, or he fly, he flew.
Wonderful. So what do we call this characteristic of verbs? Or how do we categorize this? This is an irregular verb, exactly. So to determine the difference between list 1 and list 2, let's look at their past or the past participle forms. So for watch tends to be watched, kick, kicked, admire, admired. They're all ending in D or ED. While for the second list in the past, we have a different form.
Yes.
Sleep, slept, swim, swam, fall, fell, fly, flew, drink, drank. And the major difference here is the first one is a regular list of verbs, the second one is an irregular one. And to wrap up, to identify or to be able to identify what a regular verb is, the verb is considered regular when or if in the past or the past participle form
is ending in final D or E.
is ending in final D or ED. If not,
It's
it's an irregular verb.
Yes.
What activity do we have? We have the verb circle group. And every group should have a number. So this group is number 1, 2, 3, 4, and the limited group here, they're numbers 5. Every group will work or will share one sheet only for all the members of the group. So this is group 5, group 1,
4.
group 4, group 1. I wish that we can have something creative or more creative as a product, okay? As a reminder, the first group to finish on time will get bonus points. So what are we going to do? In the sheet between your hands, you have to split it into 4 quadrants or 4 quotas. To the top, you write the verb circle and write your group number. And to the middle, every team or every group has to pick 3 irregular verbs. So, how many verbs do we have here?
3.
3. What kind of verbs?
Irregular.
Irregular. the activity goes like this. In the middle, we pick 3 irregular verbs and make sure that the verbs you choose do not end in D or ED in their past. Because it's an irregular one. So if you're having trouble finding some irregular verbs, if you look at this corner of the class, we have here the list of the common irregular verbs, and in the corresponding corner over there, we have the same list. So team members or group members, they can go and visit these 2 lists to pick some irregular verbs. Let me tell you how this works. You write the 3 words in the middle, and then everyone has one of the 4 assigned tasks to do. The first one, to the bottom corner, to the right bottom corner here, he has to write 3 sentences for the 3 irregular verbs, but the 3 sentences should be all in present. You can use the simple present or the present progressive form. Then we pass the paper to the second one in the team to write 3 sentences, but in the past. It can be simple past or past progressive. Then you move the paper to the third one, who will write 3 sentences, but in the negative past. The third one can't write his sentences unless the one with the past sentences is done. Then we move to the fourth corner. Negative past is using not, but in the past word. Like when I say, I drank the cup of tea, the other one would say, I didn't drink that cup of tea. And the last one has to write 3 sentences in the future. And I give you a hint here that any sentence written in future should contain will, like I will drink, or I will be drinking, or you can use going to. I'm going to travel, for example. This is something that expresses the future. Now, do you understand what to do?
Yes.
Yes, you have a question?
Should I have 3 sentences for each irregular verb or 1 sentence for
1 sentence for each irregular verb. Do we change the verbs from one student to another? No. You have to use only 3 verbs. But the first thing that I like to make sure now is what are the 3 verbs for each group. If you can determine on the 3 verbs now, please go and visit the list over there. Where is your favorite? What are your 3 irregular verbs?
Eat, drink, and swim.
Please write the verbs in their base form, not in their past form.
Yes,
Write
swim.
Eat, swim,
Yes, swim.
and
Drink.
Swim, drink, and
what are your 3 verbs?
We have drive, drink, and hold.
Hold, okay?
Forget, freeze, and fly.
Okay.
See, send, fight.
See,
Send,
send,
fight.
fight. And group number 2, what verbs do you have? Yes, 3 regular verbs. Run, when, where. Okay. Okay, this activity will last for 10 minutes. So you can use different forms for the present tense. You can use I am swimming or I swam to represent the present. I prefer that you start with the present, not with the past. Yes?
we write the past. The same sentence.
You can use a variety of sentences if you wish. It's better to change. Everyone has to write his score too, okay?
Okay, so we do not.
And I want one in this group to keep an eye on the timer, to keep reminding the team the time is running. So Basil, please, after you finish writing your 3 sentences, pass it to the one who's going to write the past sentences.
Sending you an email. 2.5 minutes for each person.
Yes, we started.
8 دقائق قاعد 8
minutes.
بعد وش الفيوتشر؟
ما تفرق اكتب بريزنت
هنا بريزنت.
فين البي؟
we will decide.
Yes.
The huge
I would want the past.
Because I would want the certain sentences like huge.
Huge black bird blue. So it's fly.